Today's video is answering one of the common questions or comments that I see online, and I've heard from many people for decades, and it normally goes along the lines of it's a beginning keeper or somebody who's not used to boas. They either purchase a baby boa, they go to a reptile expo, or they rescue or adopt an animal and they have no experience with it. They get the animal home, and in this case specifically, it is a boa. And if you go online anywhere and you look for boas, you'll see that information. And it normally says something like, my boa is so aggressive, it's trying to eat me every time I go into the enclosure. This girl right here is obviously not that. She is very friendly, but I do have one out of the clutch that has had a bad off day here and there. And I wanted to show how to handle what people typically call an aggressive boa, which is just a defensive behavior in the snake itself. This one specifically is a litter mate to this one. They're about 2 months old, and all it is they have not become sure of themselves yet, and it's a defensive maneuver rather than aggression. And you can see here, this girl is normally the personality of the clutches that come out. Just super friendly from the get-go. Just apparently somebody didn't give the other one the information that the world's not that scary and everything's not out trying to get you. But what I want to do is switch over and show the container that I have her in and how she is acting and how to pick her up safely without getting bit. But even if you were to get bit, she's pretty small and it wouldn't do anything to you. Switch down to show the containers that they're in. And this girl right here is the one right beside her. So you can just put her back in there, you can handle her, and she's very handleable. She's never been aggressive in any form. But if you can hear this one over here, let me pick up the container she's in. You might even be able to hear her before I get started. You hear her hissing on there. I can hear her hissing. The phone might not be picking it up. So when we open this container, put this right here in view, you'll see how she is. She has that defensive posture right there, and that's not aggression, that's just defensive. She sees through the sides of the container, and the movement is intimidating to her. And to show this other one here, just like she's in the same enclosure, same container, but she's not having that response. You can just reach in and pick her up and she's all fine. But on this one, there's a couple of different ways you can go about doing it. And all it is they are defensive. It's not aggression. If it was aggression, she would be coming out of the container trying to get me, but she's sitting there coiled back in the tight-ass position, ready to strike. She's just trying to bluff her way out of what she thinks is a dangerous situation. Imagine the size of my hand equivalent to her body, and it would be very scary for her. So a couple of options you have here. First is you can use anything, even like a small pair of feeding tongs or something, a stick, anything, just so your hand is not close to her. But you don't even have to do that. As long as you show her that nothing is scary, and automatic reaction is to jump back. So that wasn't an aggressive strike, that was a defensive strike. She saw the hand moving through the clear plastic on the container. So if you were to reach around behind her and she might strike backwards, but if she did, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And if you take this and you just put this in front of her, she might strike at it, but it doesn't have the heat that a hand does. So she's not as likely to strike at it. She'll realize that it's not a dangerous object. So as small as she is, you can just take her and just kind of pry her up with it. And once she's in your hand, she should calm right down. And the interesting part is, yesterday, she was totally fine. I think she's going into shed, and so she might just be a little defensive on that. But once you get them up in the air, they just settle most of the time right down. They still might be scared and try to lash out, but overall, they just calm down once you get them up in the air. So if she goes back down, let's see if she gets into that defensive position, because she's in a completely clear enclosure here and she sees movement all around her. So she's back down inside there now. And if I were to just reach in now, she might still get defensive, but I've already picked her up once. And so she realized that it's not a dangerous scenario. So you can see now she's calmed on down. She realized that I'm not there to hurt her, and she's doing much better. And a lot of times when they bring these snakes home and they set them up and they start striking right away, a lot of times they're set up in a glass enclosure like an aquarium, which is like this. It's see-through all the way around. So any movement out in the room is already intimidating to them. They feel like they can be attacked from all sides. This is the same snake that was just in that enclosure, hissing and striking. And look at that now. Now, she is a baby, so if she were to bite, it's not a big deal. Full-size adults might have a little different response, but they still respond basically the same way. Over the years, I've taken in many rescues myself that were adult-sized that had never been handled or might not have had the best care taken of them, but they do settle down. They more form a response to how you're handling them than they do a bond with the person. But you can see there, she's just settled on down. The camera, she's not even paying attention to. And so I can now even pull out the other clutch mate with her. And before, she was all striking and nervous and intimidating, and now they're both just calm and relaxed. So hopefully this informational handling has helped somebody. If you have questions, definitely leave them in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.